the way.
We're wanted men.
I have spoken.
Move, podcast, get out the way. Get out the way. Move, podcast, get out the way.
Welcome to episode 132 of the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. It's going to be a loose one today because it's Sunday afternoon. It's time changed. I played a show last night, so we are all kinds of messed up today. Jason, how are you?
I'm well, despite the hour change. Hopefully it's Tuesday for our listeners, or past Tuesday. So hopefully they're adjusting to the time change. No problems.
Yeah, dude. It always kind of messes with you a little bit. I played a show last night, so I didn't get home till like 1:30. You get to bed at 2, and then you wake up at 10, and you're like, "What? Oh no, it's really time change time." And half your day's gone before you wake up. And then I'm in the kitchen making coffee this morning, and I'm like, "Why didn't?" Oh, hold on. Let me start that over again. So, we're so used to all the clocks automatically changing on their own,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in the kitchen making coffee, and I'm looking at my clocks in the kitchen going, why didn't any of these change? So I had to change them.
Because it's manual.
Yeah. What's that? Even the cars do it now.
Yeah. My car didn't. I had to change it.
Oh, I hadn't paid attention in my
I should
cars.
also mention we're recording in the middle of the day, and we had planned to record like at 7, and you said, let's just get this out of the way. So that's where the Move podcast get out of the way song came into play with that whole thing. So I just
I'm sitting there playing
for the listener.
Yeah, well, I was playing video games, and I'm like, Last of Us comes on tonight, and then, dinner, and I'm probably going to be too tired to, just the time change and everything's going to hit us, and it's probably going to be a really, tiring podcast. And let's just get it out the way now, because, we're going to eat late and all that crap. So let's go.
I was painting action figures. I was customizing more when you had messaged me.
Were you turning his blue pants silver? It's bad. It's a bad 40-year-old virgin reference.
Oh, but yes, I was. I was like, wait, how do you know that? That's kind of sad. That I played right into that stereotype. Dang. Gotta change my life a little bit.
It's either I'm either turning your blue pants silver or your silver pants blue. And it's been a minute since I've seen that movie. But
yeah, I keep looking for, let's just get into it. I'm making more Cantina aliens, and I keep trying to find different bodies, but I'll have 4 aliens in this Cantina with Greedo's body, because there's just not a lot out there.
Right. Well, dude, look at the Masters of the Universe. They used $2 for that whole run, and nobody said anything.
The challenge is to make him look different. So I was painting Greedo, who is blue, silver. So that's where that fits in.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
So did you get anything fun this week?
Yeah. I got a bunch of stuff. How about you?
Yeah, I did all right. Nothing Star Wars related. Well, one thing's major Star Wars related, but
Well, it was a gluttonous week because so Hasbro had their warehouse sale. They're offering 35% off of stuff.
Wow.
on Hasbro Pulse. So I got the Black Series Grogu for $16, and I'll pay that for that action figure. I know it's a repaint and repack, but what?
What all does it come with for $16?
It comes with the pram. It comes with the Mandalorian necklace that he wears. It comes with, I'm doing this by memory, I think a frog
and a cup and the
something
ball
like that. Yeah, it comes with this pram, like I said. But
okay, well, for the pram, I'd pay because I think I'd pay that for the pram because I think the original one was like $10.
Yeah. So I mean, for 16, I can't go wrong with that.
No.
Same thing with Migs Mayfield. I got that for $16. It's the new version from season 1 of The Mandalorian. I also got the Greedo that I was just painting, and then I also got another Obi-Wan Kenobi, a wandering Jedi.
You just wanted that because it was Ewan.
He doesn't have a face, so
Oh.
the face is off the body. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
My son had we were up in Dalton, Georgia yesterday, and driving up, and we're like 10 minutes away, and all of a sudden my car says, "Your car's overheating," and I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Oh, geez.
And it didn't have any radiator fluid, so I dropped him off at his robotics thing, and Walmart was just right around the corner. And while I was in there, got the radiator fluid, was able to put that in. We're all fine there, no problems. Got to figure out why I don't have radiator fluid. That's a different question.
Yeah.
It's there now. But while I was in there, they had Series 2, the Micro Galaxy Squadron. And after the latest episode of The Mandalorian with the gauntlet, I picked up one of those new gauntlets and I opened it. And also, sometimes with those Micro Galaxy Squadrons, they put them up high on the shelf and then they fall over into the next aisle.
Oh.
So I went over there to look, and that was all the cars. And they didn't have they didn't have any, but I did see a Breath of the Wild Link hanging out with the cars.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was an impulse buy. Pick that up.
Dude, I thought you weren't going to collect anything but Star Wars.
I wasn't. This is just a one and done. And I checked out and it said Sonic plush, $10. So I'm like, all right, I don't know why it says Sonic, because it's clearly not a Sonic the Hedgehog. It's a Link, but.
And how much are those supposed to go for?
$30 online.
Jeez.
I don't know if I would pay $30, but I'll pay $10 for this guy.
All right.
The other thing I picked up was a Micro Machines Wampa baggie.
Oh, nice.
It's the mini transforming heads that turn into a playset when you flip it open.
Yes.
I got that. I got the Wampa, so now I'm closer to completing that one.
Did you see the ones that were on Deal or No Deal a couple of weeks ago? Somebody had them.
Yeah, I got those from Brad.
Oh, nice. So you got those. Sweet.
Yeah, because I was making a deal with him for some original Micro Machine art that he had that I picked up as well. So we just bundled that one. So awesome. I wasn't in. I wanted all those bags because it's all sealed, but at the same time, I was buying some original art, and I didn't want to just make it even more money. So, but right. It's an unproduced playset. It's still the small little Micro Machine heads that open up, and it has just one figure inside. It was Chewbacca. Interestingly, instead of revising it, he just taped over the revisions. So underneath, there's a completely different playset. It's Chewbacca that flips open, and originally he was supposed to be like standing in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. They decided to change Chewbacca in a seated position. And so he's seated in the Falcon. They never made it, but it's still an original piece. Earl McCarthy. I'm in love. I have it.
That's an awesome piece. And you got a good deal on that thing too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic to have some original Micro Machine art.
That's awesome. Because I know they had a Wampa one for a minute, and it went for probably double or triple what you paid for that one. So.
Yeah, I think that's a case where the guy paid too much for it, maybe, and can't go below that. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Well, that's what stinks sometimes. You overpay for something, and you either got to cut bait and lose money, or hope somebody's going to overpay for it too. But, yeah.
How about you? What'd you pick up? You see, you got something big.
Yeah, well, let me start off with the little thing first. My wife and I've been kind of wanting an iPhone, and we were watching TV, and Verizon had this ad. They were like, get the iPhone, the tablet, and the watch, and for free. So I said, hey, babe, look this up. And about an hour later, she messages me going, it's ordered. So yeah.
Welcome to the light side of the force. You are now an iPhone user.
It's been a really weird week trying to get all that doing. And every now and again, I see myself, I feel, you're trying to do like the swipe up like the Android used to do. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way. Or you trying to find the back button, because iPhone's the back button's in the app and it's not on the phone, and Android's the back buttons on the phone, if that makes sense. So you're looking for how to get out of things and learning it. So it's been interesting. And those new iPhone watches, the Apple watches are pretty insane. I was at the show last night and it starts dinging and it's like, you're in a loud environment. I'm like, no, fooling.
I'm causing it.
Yeah, it's me that's loud. So they have like a decibel meter and stuff on it. It's just got, I know I'm like at the tip of the iceberg with it, but it's been pretty crazy. And
Cool.
yeah, that was one thing I got. And then also talking to my wife, and I'm like, hey, Disney's doing after hour events at Hollywood Studios in May. Do you think I could go? And she's like, sure. So I booked a trip to Disney World in May. So gonna go do a single trip, solo trip to Disney in May. So that should be fun.
Single rider line.
That's right. Well, I was watching Tim Tracker was at the after hours event in January and it was apparently sold out, and Rise of the Resistance was a 5-minute wait.
Yeah.
So he said, huh?
Go.
Yep. I'm like, if I spend 4 hours back in Galaxy's Edge and can ride Rise of the Resistance like 2, maybe 3 times, and Smugglers run a couple of times and just experience Galaxy's Edge for those 4 hours, I'll be a happy man.
Yeah. When you're in Olga's Cantina, you got to get a Yub Nub cup for me.
Yeah, the new one, the repaint.
Yeah, it's not a repaint. It's a remold.
Is it a remold? Okay,
different color clay. They're
but
on
it's
their
the
second
same
edition. It's the same mug. The first edition was brown, and now they're on the second edition, which is bluish green.
Yeah, I wonder how long they're gonna be doing that, because when I went in 2019, everything was first edition. So it took that long for them to make their way through. I mean, granted, you did have the pandemic in between all that.
Yeah, slow things down. Yeah.
So it's just, did they plan on it taking 4 years to get through the first edition stuff? Or, is it whatever? I don't know. Who knows? But
well, that's
yeah,
cool.
I may do Savvies depending if they have the new lightsabers or if I have time, or I definitely want to get a chopper because they have the Build-A-Droid chopper. So I'm pretty excited. So I'll probably spend the day of the after hours event. Well, this is the plan. Spend the day of the after hours event in Epcot, then go over to Hollywood Studios about 5:00, and then spend the next day in Magic Kingdom. And then hopefully get to go do Universal on Friday. So we'll see how good it works.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You'll have fun. We might be going to Epcot in June, but I'm not going to hit Galaxy's Edge, unfortunately. So,
dude, I don't know how you do it, because all the time, you're not all the time, but you're down there a couple of times a year and you're like, yeah, I'm at Disney, but I'm not going to Galaxy's Edge.
It drives me nuts. It's right there. I drove 6 hours. And it's right there. Let me go.
Yeah. You feel like
there last time.
Right.
That's my family talking. That's what they sound like. Literally. That's what they sound like.
But then
at least that's what they sound like to me when they're telling me we were there last time.
We can't park hop, man. We don't have the ticket. But then my son, they went to Epcot. My son and his fiance went to Epcot on Friday, and then he sends me a picture of them in Galaxy's Edge in the Smuggler's Run queue. And I'm like, you little bastard.
It'll be fun.
Huh?
It'll be fun. You'll have fun.
Oh, I can't wait. They'll do that to me. And my son and his fiance will do that to me. Anytime they go to Disney, like, we got to go to Galaxy's Edge and send my dad a picture, because they live down there. So, to them, it's nothing.
Yeah. To them, it's just another Tuesday.
Right. Well, that's what my wife says about Disney World. She's like, I've been there. I live down there. It's no big deal to me. I'm like, but it's Disney. She goes, yeah, you know how much a pain in the butt it was to me to go to Disney when I went? Because, they did it. They'd always you'd pack a lunch. You'd go when you have to go get your lunch. It wasn't you didn't get to get immersive. It was sort of like, I was trying to talk to somebody last night about, I guess it's sort of like Six Flags is to us. And she's like, what's Six Flags?
It's an unsafe theme park.
Right.
Allegedly, before anyone starts forwarding this on to Six Flag lawyers.
Yeah, I haven't been to Six Flags in probably 5 or 6 years, or longer than that, 6 to 10 years. I'm like, man, I should go but I remember back when I was a teenager, you could get the season pass, and you'd spend your summers there.
Yeah.
You go down there 5 or 6 times a summer.
Yeah, the last time I was there is 2018. A lot of the DC roller coasters were like hurting my back. The wooden roller coasters just need to be torn down. Monster Mansion is the thing. I'd go to Six Flags just for Monster Mansion and then just go home. That thing is hilarious to me.
Oh man, you know you're getting old and you're like, the roller coasters were hurting my back.
But yeah, they were just not good roller coasters. These things are like 40 years old and not good.
Yeah, compared when you ride like Hagrid's at Universal and then you ride Six Flags, it's a totally different experience.
Anyways, I have some news. Was that all you picked up? Just tickets to Disney?
Yeah, that's it. I missed the swap meet yesterday because I just had too much going on. I just wanted to. I was feeling lazy yesterday morning, so we didn't go. But yeah, nothing. That's it.
Quick trivia. How long is an Imperial Star Destroyer?
I don't know.
Throw something out there.
A mile.
More.
2 miles.
More.
5 miles.
More.
10 miles.
That's 12.
12.
I figured after 10 you're going to go to 15, and then
right. Well, I was like, is this a dad joke or are you being serious?
You want a dad joke? I have one of those prepared if you want.
Let's go.
A guy goes up to a widow at a funeral and says, "Can I say a word?" And she said, "Sure." So he goes up, he says, "Bargain." And after the funeral, you're laughing on it. You already heard this one?
You finish it, yes.
Yeah. After the funeral, the widow goes up to him and she says, "That meant a great deal."
Yeah. But
bargain. Anyways, news. It seems like Lucasfilm is starting to put some expectations in place for Celebration.
Okay.
Because Variety just released a bunch of information about their movie slate. They're trying to dial this in and get it right. It seems that Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron is off the table.
Okay.
Along with Kevin Feige's Star Wars film, that's off the table, according to Variety. These are not happening. Taika is still moving forward with his Star Wars movie, and he might also be starring in it.
That's what he does, though. Why would people be surprised about that?
I'm not surprised. I thought it would be more of a secondary character, not the main star.
Oh, okay.
I'm just worried because most of his stuff is more on the slapsticky, humorous side,
right?
Which Star Wars has, but we need some more drama, and we need some, like a serious character. It can't all just be like Love and Thunder, where there was like every character was comedy relief. No one was the straight character. So hopefully they dial that in.
Mm-hmm.
The Star Wars film directed by Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy. Obaid.
Don't ask me how to pronounce it.
I know. I'm trying to sound it out. And written by Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson, is still moving forward. That's the one that takes place after Rise of Skywalker. Variety concluded that Lucasfilm is supposed to announce their entire slate of movies or what to expect at Celebration. So
wow.
I would expect that to happen soon.
You lucky people in Europe. You're getting a good Celebration.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of new panels that they announced this week. There's one about Celebration Returns, launching a must-see showcase that'll kick off the week. Lucasfilm's current crop of live-action filmmakers will be joined by special guests to discuss Star Wars adventures, including The Mandalorian, Andor, and more. Probably Ahsoka.
There's already been an Ahsoka panel announced.
Yeah, I was going to say the next one is Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll get a trailer for that.
Will we get to see it though?
I don't think so, because Lucasfilm is very they control that. The first Mandalorian trailer we got months after Celebration, and that was shown at Celebration.
Right. I mean, there's actually like people walking up and down the aisles watching for people with cameras, so you got to be really secretive if you're going to record anything.
Yeah. There's a dark side panel with Ian McDermott, Andy Serkis, and Gwendolyn Christie.
Do it.
Supreme Leader Snoke and Captain Phasma.
Oh, nice.
There's a separate panel there. There's a panel about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Just about the panel itself with Ewan, Hayden, and Indira Varma with Vivian Lyra Blair, who played Leia. Oh, he's yawning. He's bored with this one. Okay,
Sorry,
forget it.
no, I'm bored. I'm
So,
tired, but
someone
I'm
doesn't care
thinking,
about
I'm like, how
Obi-Wan
could
Kenobi.
huh?
Someone doesn't care about Obi-Wan
Oh
Kenobi, the
no, I'm
limited
just more
series.
thinking. I'm like, how could I sneak into Narayan's bags?
You could be a golf club. Just pack yourself up in a golf case. And there's another Imagineering panel about Galaxy's Edge. It's like, what new stuff are you going to tell us? Because this is like the same old.
Right.
That'd be the one that I wouldn't be excited about. Then there's the one about the Bad Batch, which Bad Batch this week was amazing.
Yeah.
With D. Bradley Baker, Athena was executive producer, Athena Portillo, and Jennifer Colbert, and Michelle Ang, who plays Omega. She'll be on stage.
Omega.
And then there's the Visions one with a bunch of the producers and the studios that are involved with the season 2. They'll have a stage. And then the last one I have here written down is the Jazzwares one, which will be Monday, April 10th from 2 to 3 on the Twin Sun stage.
Let's throw it on a time when nobody's going to be there.
That's like that's the end of it.
Yeah.
That's the last day.
And it's late in the afternoon. That's like one of the last panels. Thanks, Lucasfilm.
I would stay for it if I had the ability to, but
yeah.
Quietly, Hasbro announced a bunch of new retro figures.
Yeah.
For this fall. They didn't go on for pre-order. They'll just be available when they're available. They're getting rid of the pre-order stuff. It's Boba Fett in the Dune Sea, so it's that brown robe look that he's got. Fennec Shand, the Mandalorian, which is, I think, a straight repack from a previous version of the Mandalorian. Same thing with Grogu. What?
But he has the dark saber.
He's got the dark saber, yes.
Yeah.
But didn't Moff Gideon have the dark saber? Yeah, so.
Yes, he did.
So they're repacking it in a different way. Chrysanthemum, not Black K.
Hey, you said it right.
Chrysanthemum. Yeah.
Whatever. It's
in the comic
enough.
book, he was Black Chrysanthemum, but it seems like in new media, that's where that came from, because he was Black Chrysanthemum.
Gotcha.
But then in the book of Boba Fett, I guess he's just Chrysanthemum. So I completely missed that until this week.
No.
People can write in and say, hey, yo, this is what's up. Anyways, Tusken Warrior and Cad Bane are the two other figures that come with it. And I really was excited about that Cad Bane one.
Yeah.
You need to keep your nose out of places it doesn't belong.
But Cad Bane, you ain't got no nose.
Let's see. Oh,
yes.
Disney. Speaking of Disney, I should have led with this one because that would make a nice transition. This fall, they're only doing 2 voyages in the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser a week. So to answer the question, who could afford $6,000 for a cruise for 2 people? The answer is not many.
Yeah.
I think what they need to do, and this is what Jim Hill in his latest podcast about Disney kind of insinuated. I think it was looking at Lucasfilm. Maybe it was the main one. Anyways, there might be a redo of the show, and they might make it the popular Star Wars right now, The Mandalorian. So maybe we'll see if, the Mandalorian shows up with Moff Gideon and stormtroopers.
I really think they should turn it into maybe a dinner theater or something, or maybe keep it to where you can still stay on it the 2 days if you want to, but then they can be like, oh, we're having some guests come on for dinner or something, and then those people leave, so they get to have a 4 or 5 hour experience, which I'd probably pay $150 for, maybe even $300 for a 4 or 5 hour experience on that thing. If you got to go explore it and then you got to go do dinner and then you had to leave, it'd probably be worth it.
Probably. I don't know.
They
don't seem to be backing down from this whole cruise thing.
Dude, how much? Yeah, if you had that much money invested in it, you would try to make it. You wouldn't back down either, I guess.
Yeah, the first thing I would do is, like I was just saying, throw the Mandalorian into that. People will just go crazy. Grogu's on that ship. You've got a couple days with Grogu. People are going to love it. They're going to go.
Yep. I've heard that Mandalorian's going to be a permanent fixture now at Galaxy's Edge.
It should be a thing.
Yeah.
It should be. So
Yeah, and it just, yeah, I don't know. I as much as I love Galaxy's Edge, Harry Potter World kicks its butt, and that, you know, everybody's playing armchair quarterback with that thing, Monday morning quarterback with Galaxy's Edge right now.
also with Galaxy's Edge, Jon Favreau was interviewed by IMDb website. You know about this?
No, finish it because I kind of glanced over it. So talk about it. Yes.
He thought the Disney park should have some sort of Razor Crest ride, something. He said, quote, "I'd probably do something that's very immersive. I'd probably do something with the haptics worked in, using the assets we used in the volume. So some sort of screen ride, probably like Star Tours. I think that there should be an educational component, but not educational like a museum. Educational, like sit in, feel this, and here's how we did it." So, I don't know if that's. I don't think they've done anything like that before, but that would be cool to go on the ride, and then the next part of the ride is immersive, and not immersive, but like, this is how we did it. This is the screen, and look what we can do. And
that'd be interesting, because if they keep it in Hollywood Studios or whatever, you know, it would be sort of a good branch or good bridge between the two parks.
Yeah.
Because that's what Hollywood Studios used to be.
Yeah. But it's not anymore. It's more of an immersive world. You're going into Hollywood, or to the movies that you see in Hollywood. It's not a working studio.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Good old that original charm is gone.
Yeah. It's still my favorite park.
Yeah. Same. Samesies.
And that was before Galaxy's Edge was in it, because they still had Star Wars in it. So yeah. It's always been my favorite part. But there is something magical about going to Magic Kingdom. So
then finally, the only other thing I wanted to mention, and we'll mention this at the end of the show, the Georgia Alliance of Star Wars Collectors Toy Show is May 13th at Second Chance Toys and Collectibles. So if you're in town, please stop by. This is a toy show that will completely benefit the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, CHOA. We have a raffle. If you can't stick around for the raffle, we're taking donations. Come check out. We've got about 15 vendors plus the shop right next door. We've asked everyone to have some sort of Star Wars presents, so we'll have a bunch of Star Wars toys there. The raffle will be, again, Star Wars related items. Stop on in, check it out, have fun with us, and let's rock.
Yeah, be a fun weekend.
It should be. It'll be a fun 2 months planning this thing.
Oh my God. It's like, yeah, putting on a toy show is fun until you start planning one.
Yeah. Just because, and I've said this to you before, just because you go to toy shows doesn't mean you can plan toy shows.
Yes.
But we're doing our best, and it'll be fun. This will be unique because it's all for the community. It's not lining anyone's wallets. Well, it is the vendors, but I mean, we're hanging out, we're raising money for CHOA, so come on out. You ready to get into the next episode of The Mandalorian?
Let's do it.
Chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore, directed by Rachel Morrison and written by Jon Favreau. This was a good episode. I really enjoyed it, even more so on the second run.
Yep.
Because I watch it and then I rewatch it to make notes and to talk about it on the podcast. So the second time around, I really did like it a lot more. And even I liked it the first time. We're back on Tatooine. We're seeing land speeders racing through the city. Mos Eisley, maybe? Is that where she is?
I thought it was Espa.
Mos Espa. There's a Rhodian who's arguing with Pelimato about his land speeder. A lot of the parts are missing, and she's threatening to kick him out into the street because he's just being argumentative. And then she's like, all right, fine. As a favor for you, I'll get the parts. It'll take a couple weeks. He leaves, and three Jawas come in with all the parts that's missing. The Jawas have ripped them off, and they're going to repaint them and put them back on the land speeder and make a few bucks.
Yeah.
Which question about that?
Yes.
The Jawas in R5, they dropped R5 off and he had a bad motivator. Seems like now it's something the Jawas might have sabotaged, but that the bad motivator blew too soon. Supposed to blow, a couple days in.
If you read from a certain point of view, which is canon, R2 made him blow his motivator because
That's true.
R2 had kind of talked to him and was like, I've got this mission and I need to go here and I need to stay with my buddy. And when they picked R5, he blew himself up, sacrificed himself.
Quick tangent. There is a
Yes.
Return of the Jedi tales from a certain point of view coming out this year. 40 tales for Return of the Jedi.
Cool. Well, there was also an Empire too.
Yeah, did you read that one?
No, I hadn't even made it through the one from from A New Hope, and I've had it for a few years.
Okay.
Have you read them?
Yeah, I read the first one. I haven't read Empire, so I'm wondering if I should go grab that.
Yeah, I probably need to finish it. It's just one of those things where, I don't know,
some are better than others.
Yeah, and you start reading other books, and you're like, I need to finish this book, and that book gets put away, and then you forget about it.
The other thing I wanted to mention, Pelly's got a missing tooth. Has she always had a tooth missing?
That happened in Book of Boba Fett.
That's right. Yes. Cool. Moving on. Now that we've got that
a lot of
up.
stuff happened in Book of Boba Fett that people are missing. They're like, how'd Grogu get back to Luke? I mean, the Din. It's like Book of Boba Fett, man.
Well, Mandalorian flies in, and he's got the N1 starfighter, and he says that it's faster than he knows what to do with. Grogu jumps out of the ship into Pelly's arms, just like Yoda from Attack of the Clones, but also like Book of Boba Fett when Luke was teaching Grogu with the Force and doing jumps and stuff. Pelly says that Grogu is talking to her, saying her name, right, which means it's probably a wink, wink. Grogu's going to be talking by the end of the season. Get ready for that.
They do a lot of foreshadowing in this show.
Yeah, I wrote down a couple pieces of foreshadowing in this particular episode. Mando is looking for an IG circuit. Pelly says, "Hey, Grandpa, they haven't made those in a while." Pelly offers him R5, and so that's it. We go.
Well,
R5 gets in.
Before you go any further, I don't know if you had this mentioned. He goes, I don't have enough room for R5 in my ship, but he was going to put IG-11 in his ship.
IG can hold on to the wing or something. He hadn't figured that out yet.
Okay.
Maybe he was going to fold him up or something and put him between his legs. I don't know.
Because wasn't it you or somebody else had said that no, it was another podcast I was listening to that they thought that the IG could fold up like battle droids.
Yes, I think that's true. You got to fold them up and put them in the wing.
Yeah.
But anyways, he takes R5. R5's got a nice oil bath. He's very clean, very nice looking again, and he needs R5 to test the atmosphere. We just need to mention that. They load up. It's they go from day to night, so they took all the day to pull out, where Grogu was sitting in the back of the N1 starfighter to put back the droid encasing, so R5 can jump in there. And they take off, and they're celebrating Boonta Eve. Pelly mentioned that it's Boonta Eve, which we saw in Phantom Menace. Boonta Eve race, the pod racer race. That would have been cool too, instead of the land speeder races, to see pod racers again.
Yeah.
Just to tie in that. But they didn't. They had land speeders, whatever. But there's fireworks. It's a great scene. It's very beautiful. I like that different look of Tatooine. But we cut back to Mandalore, and Grogu is frightened by the storms and the clouds. Mando says Mando seems very excited to be there. He says every Mandalorian can trace their roots back to the planet. But he also says that it's our home planet. He's talking to Grogu, and he says that's our home planet. So he's considering Grogu as a Mandalorian.
Yeah. I think so.
Mando says that he grew up on the moon of Concordia.
Yep.
That's where he grew up, which is different than the planet we saw Bo-Katan on. Bo-Katan.
Yeah, I messed up on that last week.
Right. Just want to clear that up.
That's my bad.
Same system, different astronomical bodies.
Yes, and you know that I was talking about the wrong planet last week, and I thought that I was talking about this planet, and I was talking about that planet, and I got messed up, and I'm sorry.
Worst podcast ever. They cut through the storms and all their navigational sensors go dark, but once they're through the clouds, they see the scorched planet. The bombs have done a ton of damage. It's screwing with the planet's magnetics. The surface is like green crystals because it's been crystallized due to the intense bombing and the heat that the surface received because of the Empire. He does mention they can't communicate with anyone outside the atmosphere. They're cut off from the rest of the galaxy. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
That's what's going on there. Just to let you know, he can't call for help if something goes wrong.
Oh no.
But
who will he ever find to help him?
R5 is supposed to scout ahead, so R5 protests. And Mandos just says, it's not a question. R5 gets down. He starts navigating through the planet. He turns a corner, and he goes quiet. He's missing from radar. So Mando has to get out. He pressurizes his helmet. It's pretty cool because it's a different sound of the breathing thing. It's like a remix of Darth Vader's breathing.
Yeah. Well, then you can also you can hear him being pissed off. He's annoyed. He's annoyed. You know, he's like, it's a thing for droids. This is a job for droids.
He doesn't like droids.
Right.
He goes into a cave where he last saw R5 on the sensors, and he finds the Civic Center. He's overlooking the Civic Center. It's like a subterranean city. The place is in ruins. It's rusted. It's collapsing. He's jumped by 3 Morlock-looking creatures. Morlock are the creatures from The Time Machine, which is one of my favorite sci-fi movies. Yeah, classic sci-fi movies. Humans kind of broke off from evolution after a nuclear war, and they kind of evolved. I mentioned this later in my notes. Let's see if I can find that real quick, because just like, and I thought this was cool because just like in The Time Machine after a nuclear war, there's a group of humans that go below the surface and a group of humans that go above the surface, and the ones below the surface evolve into Morlocks, which they kind of have the same shape. They kind of have the long hair. They're a little bit bulky because they're lifting rocks and stuff. They also have the fluorescence in their eyes. These creatures in the Mandalorian have 4, but it's cool that these creatures are there because similarly, Mandalorian experienced a nuclear holocaust. So now they've got these subterranean Morlock-looking characters. So I thought the parallels between the two were pretty cool. I thought that was smart.
Yeah.
They're like, well, whatever. I'm just whatever. I'm not going to say what the filmmakers thought. He's jumped by these creatures. He pulls the Darksaber out. He's able to fend them off, but the weight of the Darksaber is like throwing him around everywhere. He's just like, can't hold on to it. When he swings it, it like pulls him.
Yeah, you could tell he is not trained with it.
But after he knocks them down, he knocks one over. He kills one, stabbing it. R5 is in the background. He picks up R5. They go back to the ship and they do some reading, and the planet's breathable. The Empire must have used some propaganda to keep the Mandalorians broken up and saying that this planet's not safe. The Empire must see them as a serious threat to develop this story that their home planet is ruined. We've destroyed it. You can't go back. And the only way they could do that was to spread a rumor that the planet was cursed, because I really think that if they were able to go back and reform their forces, that they would have been a serious threat to the Empire and to the Emperor himself.
Yeah.
And he knew that, and that's why they did this.
Well, I mean, you can see it in Bad Batch how scheming the Emperor is. So I would not put that past him.
Yep. Mando and Grogu go into the mines. R5 is back at the ship. They jump down into the Civic Center, and when they land, Mando tells Grogu that they're on their own and that the mines should be a little bit further down. And when he says we're on our own, it's just, I think they don't have any sensor readings beyond that. Yeah. Grogu says echo. Like, he really says echo.
Oh.
But I interpreted that as let's go.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think he's going to be talking this season, so maybe I'm just reading into things. But when he goes echo, I thought he was like saying "let's go."
Right. The way that they foreshadowed on this episode, I would definitely say that he's going to be talking this season.
They go down under the city into giant sewer tubes. They walk deep into the tunnels. Mando uses his flashlight. He has his blaster ready as they're walking. Water's pouring down from the surface, and Mando says that these must lead to the mines. Grogu is scared by some lizard-looking creatures that are just hanging out in the mines. Mando, as they walk, Mando, kneels down and he finds a rusted helmet, and you hear the Mandalorian theme played. He's holding it like he's Hamlet in the skull. There's a shot where he's just like, to be or not to be, almost. But then a giant spider robot grabs and traps him, puts him in a cage. We see in the front of this robot, there's an eye behind like a lens. So we know that this thing is living, and it carries Mandalorian to a lair, and he puts the Mandalorian onto a spigot.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
No, dude. I'm sorry. It just everything. I think the evening's just hitting me.
Keep the energy alive.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Mando is trapped in this cage, and Grogu follows to see what's happening, and he tries to use the Force. Oh, sorry. He's watching. He's spying on what's happening, and the robot pops out of the spider, and he looks just like General Grievous. He's got a head. He's got tubes. He's got forearms and legs. Even the spear that he's holding is one of the spears that the bodyguards use almost.
Okay. He reminded me a lot of the bug creatures in whichever sequel or prequel.
Geonosian warriors?
Yes. That's what I thought he was.
He comes out and he makes this noise that reminded me a lot when he first emerges, reminded me a lot of General Grievous.
Okay.
And so the whole time he was on screen and as he was moving, Harrison and I were going, is that General Grievous? Is that what they're doing here?
Dude, I'm not going to argue that point because after hearing you say that, it makes sense that it could be, or at least something.
Personally,
along those lines.
I don't think it was, but the line was very blurry for us. Like,
right.
We were just going, is that him? Is it not him? We just didn't know.
I think you get your answer later on in the episode.
Yeah, it's not.
Right.
Unless it's just his left brain.
It's just one of his eyes.
The guy takes Mando's blaster and Darksaber and just tosses them to the side. He doesn't realize what he has. Grogu finds a quiet moment to run up to the Mandalorian, and he tries to use the Force to lift the spigot up, but he can't.
Mm-hmm.
So he drops the spigot, just a sudden drop, which attracts the attention of this Grievous guy. Mando quickly says, go find Bo-Katan, and Grogu races off. He's racing through the sewers. He nearly gets bit by one of these lizard creatures, which is revealed to have wings because it starts chasing him up. One of the Morlocks tries to stop Grogu at the mouth of the cave. And this is the money shot from the trailer where Grogu just pushes the guy back. And he jumps into the N1 starfighter. He points to his display. He points to Concordia, to R5. The lizard thing attacks as the ship takes off, and they're off to Concordia. Back there, we see Bo-Katan sitting in her thing, on her throne, and her droid comes up. So this is the characterization of Bo-Katan was a little off for me this episode.
Okay.
Because she says, let's get rid of this guy once and for all when she sees the N1 coming in. The N1 coming in. It made it seem like she was ready to kill this guy.
Yeah.
To get him out. I don't know.
I
then think the rest of the episode, she's just hunky-dory.
Well, I've got a couple of questions. It's like, does she just sit there on her throne sulking all day going, thinking about what could have been?
I guess so. Yeah, she's alone.
And it's like, would you do that in full armor? Wouldn't you just do that in like a nightgown or something? Because that armor is uncomfortable unless they're just used to the weight of it.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then what? I think that was it. I don't know.
Well, I guess my question is, so we don't see Axe Wolves is that dude Mandalorian from season 2, and then he's missing later on in the rescue. And they did say that we're going to learn. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Casca Reeves was there, but Axe Wolves left, and now Casca Reeves is not around. And so it's like, did these people realize that Mando has the dark saber, and they just like, no, we're not going to follow you anymore. You're not in charge.
The way
We're
it
not gonna-
sounds is that's what it is. But I have a feeling the way that everything's setting up, we'll see them sometime in this season.
Yeah, they said they were going to explain it, but I'm wondering if that's what's going on. They're like, we're not going to follow that guy, but we can't follow you anymore because you're not in charge.
Right.
They just took off.
Yeah. I also heard that somebody asked if we thought that Bo-Katan was flirting with Mandalorian.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, cool.
There's some weirdness going on,
Yeah.
and it's tough to read the subtlety of some of these scenes.
Mhm.
Is what I was having trouble with.
Gotcha. Well, and then I also wanted to add how she changed. She did a complete 180. Nobody can fight the cuteness of Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Once she saw that he was in trouble, and Grogu was all by himself, she was like, okay, let's go.
Right.
And they take the gauntlet, they leave the N1 starfighter, and then they go to Mandalore. Bo-Katan gives a lot of backstory here. If you haven't watched the Clone Wars, this is your opportunity to catch up on what happened to Mandalore. She says the planet didn't always look like this. As she comes in for a landing, we see a deep impact crater. And as the shuttle kind of comes around for a landing, we see the scale of this crater, and it was just, the planet was pummeled by the Empire. Grogu guides Bo-Katan back into the Civic Center. R5 again stays with the ship, and he's actually like watching from sensors in the ship, watching them walk away. Bo-Katan,
I thought he was going to lock the ship up, and then he's just sort of, I'm going to watch.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a
weirdo.
A weirdo, yeah. A voyeur.
Yeah. They go back to the Civic Center. Bo-Katan takes off her mask and says that her family used to rule all of it. Now it's a tomb. It's interesting, the dichotomy between Bo-Katan and how she sees Mandalore, and the Mandalorian and how he sees it. Mandalorian Din sees it as a magical place, a place of wonder, even in ruin. Bo-Katan sees it as a graveyard. Simple as that. But it's the same thing. So it's just kind of interesting how their viewpoints are different. As they jump down, I thought that was a cool scene with the volume, kind of like you just see like everything moving behind them as the camera kind of follows them down. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a good use of the technology. They splash down in the sewer, and Grogu's freaked out again. He's having some sort of mini panic attack because he's afraid of the lizards. Bo-Katan understands that he's frightened. She must sense it through the Force or something, but she needs him to do his job, to guide her to the Mandalorian. To which Grogu just kind of goes, he kind of sputters and makes raspberries, which is like, okay, I guess that's how he deals with it.
But then he turns his flashlight on and does a complete 180.
Yeah, it's probably, he needed the pep talk. Like, you need to focus. You need to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be a Mandalorian right now.
Yeah. And speaking of flashlights, it kind of bothers me that Mandalorians are using flashlights because they should have night vision in those helmets. Or at least they used to. Or something.
Bo-Katan didn't.
She used a flashlight, I thought. She had a flashlight.
Did she?
Yeah.
Maybe the flashlight was for the camera, and they knew the camera was on them, and they were like, we need the people at home need to see this, so let's just shine a light over there.
Yeah, they broke the fourth wall.
Maybe Mandalorian was doing it for Grogu.
Yeah, maybe.
He didn't have his flashlight on then.
Okay. Maybe.
All right. We both agree. Stop yawning.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, Bo-Katan.
Damn time change. Anyway, go for it.
Bo-Katan says she knew a lot of Jedi. She actually said that they got along for a time. They fought side by side. And she said that Grogu must be very good with the Force to be able to make it all the way back to Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
Bo sees some movement above her. Is it okay to say Bo, or is it Bo-Katan?
I think Bo's fine.
She sees movement above them in the crystals. She pushes Grogu out of the way, so you know it's about to get serious because she just quietly moves him. And she takes her blasters out, and 3 more of these Morlock creatures jump down, and she fights them. She uses her tools, her knives, her shields, her grappling hook. She takes them all out. She calls them Alamites. They used to live in the wastelands beyond their city. She says if they survived, I wonder what else has too.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wink, wink. I wonder.
Oh, jeez.
Back in, for lack of a better term, Grievous's lair, Grievous injects Mando with a needle, and it seems like he's starting to pull blood from the Mandalorian's body, Din's body. Mandalorian is groaning. Bo-Katan just walks in and she just starts blasting this robot creature. The Grievous character has the lightning stick that he uses to zap Bo-Katan and knocks her down, and she sees that the Darksaber is on the ground. She uses her grappling hook to grab the Darksaber and ignite it, and she's fighting with it with more skill than we've seen the Mandalorian fight with in 3 seasons. 2.5 seasons.
That was so awesome seeing her kick butt with that Darksaber. And I've noticed something, at least with her fighting with the Darksaber. Maybe I haven't seen like a Jedi do it, but it's like when they stab somebody with it, instead of pulling it out, they just shut it down. The Jedis do that, like, you put it in somebody's gut. Oh, okay, so she was shutting it down instead of pulling it out, if you noticed.
Yeah, I didn't notice, but
no, sorry. But
cool.
Yeah, just watching the Darksaber in action is pretty freaking awesome.
But when she kills it is. It's pretty cool to see a live action Darksaber. It's just such a niche little thing that it's like, wow, we get this now in live action.
Yep.
She kills the Grievous character, and the head pops off, and it's just a little head with the eye in it, and it's a spider. It's got little spider legs and starts crawling away. Mandalorian warns her, behind you. And it's the giant spider thing. The little guy got into the giant spider thing, and it's like maybe about the size of 5-6 people. But Bo, it doesn't stop Bo. She's slicing legs off. She's sliding underneath it and just cutting the belly open. And then finally we see the creature's eye go dark after a mini battle. And this thing's gone for good, is what they're trying to say.
Right after High Magistrate's bust falls on his head, he goes dark.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
We cut to a campfire scene, and Mandalorian says that Bo was right. Mandalore is not cursed, to which Bo-Katan looks around and says, look around. She obviously thinks it is, and there's nothing left. It is cursed. It's not what she once thought. Bo-Katan makes Mandalorian some pog soup. Did we see that in the Clone Wars?
I don't remember. I don't. First time I remember hearing it.
Yeah, she asks him if he's ever had it before, and he says no. And she said any Mandalorian worth their armor grew up on it since they were Grogu size. Bo-Katan says that Mandalorian should rest, but Mandalorian says, no, I need to go to the mines of Mandalore and be redeemed. Despite what just happened, I have a thing to do. Bo says that these are just children's stories. The Mandalorian says that he's in debt for rescuing her, but he must go to the living waters. When he said that I'm in your debt, I'm like, is that more wink wink?
Okay.
I don't know. And then Bo offers, this is the thing that was weird. She says, I'll take you there. So I don't know if being on the planet changed her and said, I'll be more kind to you now, because back up at the moon or the planet that orbits around, it's in the same system. She was like, we're going to, end this for once and for all. I don't want to see this guy ever again. So
maybe Grogu did a Jedi mind trick on her.
Maybe that was the part that I struggled with. The characterization just seemed to be off. Like 1 minute she was upset, and then a few minutes later she's like, all right, let's just go. I'll help you.
Well, it's also human emotion too. I mean, we can flip flop on a dime too if we want.
Yeah. Here Bo-Katan provides some background to about Mandalore. She says that Mandalorian asks her if it was painful to see the city like this, and she says it's painful to see their kind fight time after time again, killing each other for reasons that they couldn't explain. It made them weak, and it led to the destruction of their planet.
Right.
Which again, is that wink wink? Is she saying I'm open to talk and to unite our people again? If you can just cut the theatrics out?
Maybe. They foreshadowed it too much that Mandalorians will be coming back together, or excuse me, they're going to at least be trying something on this somewhere in this season.
Yeah. They get back to the mines of Mandalore, which it seems like the mines were not as deep as they were going. Like it seemed like it was midway through the city, and the Mandalorian was jumping too far down into the sewers.
Okay.
If I read that right, because it seemed like there was still some city there when they were walking into the mine. Anyways, Bo-Katan says that she's been to the living waters of subjects because she was royalty. She was showered in gifts. The Mandalorians loved to see the princess recite the creed as her father watched. She said she knew her father was proud because she didn't embarrass him. So he was more concerned with being embarrassed than being proud of her, which was kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
But then Bo says that her father died while defending Mandalore, and this moves the Mandalorian, Din. He pauses and he just, like, very emotionally says, "This is the way," in honor of the father, which I thought was pretty interesting. And Bo-Katan seemed moved by that too, because she's looking at Grogu like, "What are you looking at?" And usually you say that when you've been caught doing something, like, and so was she, what's going on there?
I don't
This is where the romantic questions come in, because it's tough to read the nuance there.
Maybe I need to rewatch it. I do need to rewatch it and think of it from that perspective, because I totally missed it.
But yeah, because it's so subtle, but it could be interpreted that way.
Gotcha.
We make it to the living waters. It's a lake on the side of steps going deep into the mines. Bo-Katan says these mines date back to the age of the first Mandalore. According to ancient folklore, the mines were once a mythosaur lair. Mandalore the Great is said to have tamed the mythical beast. It is from these legends that the skull sigil was adopted and became a symbol of their planet. Wink, wink.
Yeah. There's another wink.
Yeah. The Mandalorian stands by the water, untalking. He removes his cape, his weapons, his jetpack, and he steps into the water reciting the creed. I swear on my name, the name of the ancestors, that I shall walk the way of the Mandalore. It was weird the way that they spelled out Mandalore in the subtitles. It's MAND apostrophe ALOR. ALOR.
Huh.
So,
wonder if somebody didn't know what they were doing.
I don't know. And the words of the creed shall forever be forged in my heart. And then, as Bo-Katan proudly watches, and she seems again honored or moved for some reason to see this, the Mandalorian is pulled under the water. Bo throws on her helmet and jumps into the water. The water is much deeper than we anticipate, and she's searching for the Mandalorian. He's deep down in the waters. This is like a subterranean lake. Like, it's huge. She has to turn off her light to see his light from his helmet, because her light was too bright and it was polluting the water around her, light pollution. But she finds him, she grabs him, she rockets to the surface, but not before she sees the eye of a mythosaur. She can't believe it. She gasps, and water bubbles escape from her helmet. She's and even without, and they blast onto the surface, even without taking off her helmet, she's watching the water, and you can just see her amazement of like, what did I just see?
Yeah.
I would also like to point out last week that I said the mythosaur was coming back at some point. Someone's riding a mythosaur. Please remember that. Please listen to me, because sometimes my instincts about storytelling is correct.
They still have to ride them, though. They still have to ride the mythosaur.
That'll happen. The first question is, did the mythosaur pull the Mandalorian down?
I don't think he did.
Yeah, I think it was probably like a Dianoga.
Yeah.
That pulled him down.
But that Dianoga must have been booking it to take him that far down.
And maybe the Mandalorian hit his head or something on the way down too, because he was knocked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a huge mythosaur.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool because we didn't get full sight of it, because it was in shadow, and we only saw Bo-Katan's headlight kind of illuminate it. But what we did see was just like, oh, that's cool, because that is the skull that we've seen so long for 40 years on the side of Boba Fett.
Right. Well, originally it was called the Bantha skull, and then when the EU came around, they changed it to Mythosaur.
Yeah. And it's tied to the Mandalorians.
Right. So yeah, that was pretty cool to see that. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. Because I mean the way that the trailer sees it, it's could be prime time for the pirates to show up. Because then somebody said that or you might have said you saw Din. It felt like Din was flying the gauntlet. So that would make perfect sense for the pirates to show up in either this episode or the next one when they're together and Bob, he has to fly the gauntlet. So, hey, we did also get a mention of Boba Fett in this episode. We didn't get to see him, but there was a mention of him. So
what was it?
Palimato said, "Hey, are you going to go see Boba Fett?"
Oh, yes. Yeah, so I was excited to see the Mythosaur. I like this episode. I thought that was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that some people did not like the first episode of The Mandalorian. They thought it was too much setup. So I went to our Smugglers Galaxy YouTube, Facebook page, and I posted something for people to say out of 5 stars, 5 being the highest. How many stars would you give The Mandalorian Chapter 8, The Mines of Mandalore? The audience has talked. They've chimed in. Sam said he gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Skylar gave it 4.5 stars after rewatching the end of the episode again. It sounds like that the end of the episode really made it for him. I'm just reading into that. Ronnie Ortiz gave it 5. Mark Spriggs gave it 5. Casey Quaid gave it 4. Ann Bowden gave it 4. Zach DeStefano said 3. There were some good things in it, but overall just okay. Really love the score of this season, though. Alfonso gave it 10, so he must really, really enjoy it if he's giving it 10 out of 5 stars. And then Robert Ortiz gave it 3, so it was sort of the middle of the road for him. But I was just curious to see, I really like this episode. I'd probably give it a 4.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I could be persuaded for 5 because of that last shot of the Mythosaur, but I wanted to see what other people thought.
Throw in a monkey lizard and you give it 5.
Yeah, that's the best way to my heart. Yeah, I was so bored at my son's robotics this weekend that I made a meme of that Drake one where he's like, I don't want none of that. He's got his hand up and it's a monkey. The next one, he's got his hand up. I don't want anything about that. It's a lizard. And then the next one, he's smiling and pointing at the monkey lizard. So it's like, I don't want the monkey. I don't want the lizard. I want the monkey lizard. Anyways, I thought it was a good episode. And it's interesting that you didn't pick up on the romantic. There's something weird going on with Bo-Katan. Either she's feeling herself again being on Mandalore, or she's admiring a Mandalorian on Mandalore. I don't know. Something weird.
Yeah, or the fact he's a single dad and she has a thing for single dads.
Or maybe the idea that he did I just lose the idea?
Uh-oh.
Getting old sucks. Maybe it's just she was such a hard ass and now she's not a hard ass, and that's what's going on is she's just starting to get some respect for him. Maybe it's not love or admiration. It's just I was caught respecting this guy.
Right. Or it could also be the fact that she's realizing, if she wants to do what she wants to do, she needs this guy to do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm enjoying this season of Mandalore, the Mandalorian. The rumors were that they were going to change the name at the end of this season, to be more inclusive, because this season was supposed to be about uniting Mandalorians.
The Mandalorians?
Or some, maybe, I don't know. They changed, what was it? Winter Soldier and Falcon to Winter Soldier and Captain America. So.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I've heard. That was the rumor for season 4, but I guess we'll see in 8 more weeks. We already only got 6 more episodes.
Yes. We're almost there. But we also have Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew coming out this year, but Visions. Yeah, that sucks. It's almost over. We just started.
Yeah.
By the time the Georgia Alliance's Star Wars Collector's Toy Show rolls around, and it's not going to be any more episodes of The Mandalorian.
Oh, man. Okay, cool. Because I was thinking, I'm like, man, I hadn't looked to see when the season finale of Mandalorian is. Will I be in Disney when it airs? Which
6
meant-
weeks from now, it'll be over.
Okay, yeah.
You do the math. I'll leave that up to you.
I just got to look at a calendar. If you're saying it'll be after the meetup, then yes, I will be fine, because that was when I was trying to pick the date. It's like every weekend I have something going on, so you have to kind of like shoehorn it in between a bunch of stuff. So
April 19th should be the season finale.
April 19th. Okay.
Yeah. As we close out the show, anything else about the Mandalorian chapter 18?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, no, I'm yeah. It's
Cool.
been some hella good storytelling, especially like I said, after the crappy Bad Batch year we've been having. But
Actually,
Bad-
the last episode was pretty cool.
yeah, it's
We're
setting some weird stuff up in the Bad Batch right now.
We're starting to see Crosshairs realize that a good soldier doesn't always follow orders, and he's not following orders. Like right at the start of the episode, this jerk commander comes up to him. He's like, "Why do you not have your helmet on?" So what they're insinuating is that a good trooper wears his helmet, but here Crosshairs is not following his orders. He's not wearing the helmet. So he's starting to defrost a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
He's seeing how clones are being treated. He's a clone, and it's just like, what? Wait, what? I think what's going to happen at some point, the Bad Batch is going to get in trouble, and I don't think he's going to be redeemed, but I do think he's going to sacrifice his life for the safety of his brothers, and his life will end. Sorry,
Right.
that's probably a spoiler, but I'm pretty sure that might be what happens there at the end somehow.
Yeah, there's how many? Well, we got 2-3 episodes of that left.
Yeah, but I think they haven't announced the season 3 yet.
Okay. Well, I
we're
mean,
only-
go ahead.
We're just a couple of weeks from Celebration.
Yeah. Because they've got a lot of loose ends they need to tie up on that, because you got to figure out what's going on with Rex and Cody, and with no, it wasn't Echo, the one with the hand.
Tech.
Tick.
No, it is Echo.
Is it Echo? Okay.
Yeah, Tech is the Donatello of the group.
Okay. So then you got those loose ends, and you got to figure out now, because Crosshair shot that guy and he's probably in the brig. We got to figure out what's going to happen with him.
I can't help but make comparisons that the Bad Batch are the Ninja Turtles. Hunter is Leonardo. He's the leader. Wrecker is Michelangelo. He's just, oh, let's have fun. There's pizza. Tech is obviously Donatello, and then Raphael is the one that's always, breaking off from the group. He's got a mind of his own. He's got an attitude. That's Crosshairs. I watch it. I'm just like, that's the Ninja Turtles.
Now you just need to see if they stay with the colors. If something comes up purple or
Yeah, they don't. But as we close out the show, we thought maybe we'll just start a new section. It's not going to be ongoing. It's just as needed, like a community board. We got Eric from Hole in the Ground Productions wrote in about a Kickstarter that he's doing right now. I can't attest. This is not a personal endorsement of Hole in the Ground Productions, but I do think he's been around for a while. He's got a cantina right now. If you go to holeinthegroundpro.com, there's a cantina playset that they're working on, and check that out and see if that's something you want to do. Back.
What about Mr. Sam's?
Yeah, I don't have that up right now, but Mr. Sam's will be in Cincinnati this week for a Cincinnati Toy Show. They're not exhibiting as far as the West Virginia club, so don't look for him. But if you say hi, if you see Sam, you recognize his voice from his previous episodes. I guess he's only been on one. But if you recognize his voice, say hi. Say hi to Sam.
It's the Columbus Toy Show next Sunday, the 19th.
Columbus. So I sent you to Cincinnati. Go to Columbus. Turn around.
It's only like 3 hours north. 3 hours difference. You're good.
It's not too far.
Yeah.
And then finally, The Georgia Alliance of Star Wars Collectors is hosting its first toy show on Saturday, May 13th from 11 to 4 at Second Chance Toys and Collectibles. This toy show is to benefit the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, also known as CHOA. The event is free to the public and will have plenty of vendors to shop from. This has been approved to be a 501st event. So if any of the 501st choose to volunteer, they can participate. We might have one scheduled to attend for now.
Yeah.
We look forward to their help and all the photos that they'll post online later after the show. 100% of the raffle proceeds will go to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. We'll also be accepting donations. CHOA, if you don't know, is a not-for-profit children's healthcare system dedicating to caring for infants, children, teens, and young adults aged 0 through 21 throughout Georgia.
Yep. And then don't forget about Toylanta, the end of this month. Let me pull my calendar up.
May 24th to March 24th to 26th.
Yep.
Georgia Alliance will have a booth. Stop by. We'll be there Saturday and Sunday. Say hello. We'll have QR codes up the wazoo, which means I got to make that banner stand this week. I was working. I got the poster that we're handing out. We have a commemorative 5th anniversary poster. We have coasters that we'll be handing out. So stop by, pick up a coaster, pick up a poster. That rhymes. We'll have a poster there for the toy show. So if you want to attend, you can just scan that QR code. It'll take you to the Facebook page. You can find it real easy. RSVP. We'd love to have you out there and have your support. So
yeah, it's going to be a busy few months.
And also, the Hole in the Ground's production thing was the reason why we decided to do the community board to try to fit it in. It's not the toy show, so it might seem like it was self-serving that we created this thing to self-serve ourselves and have a way to promote the show, but that's really not how it happened.
Right.
But because of it, we're promoting the toy show. So check us out, May 13th.
Exactly. Awesome.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
Nothing too exciting. Talking the show.
Well, you're doing the recaps or whatever, and there wasn't a whole lot to speak of. It's just sort of you go through it. When Sabine and Hera show up, then I'll do a lot more talking.
You'll take over. Over. Would have been cool if in the living water Sabine was there.
It would have been
right,
or like you see Sabine take off in the Phantom 3 right as he lands on Bo-Katan's planet. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for listening to the Smuggler's Galaxy podcast. If you could, please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts, if allowed. It really helps us out and points people to our show. You can follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We'd love feedback. We'd love to make you part of the show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smuggler's Galaxy logo. You can find him at Rock the Force Podcast. And thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the music. Hasbro, re-release VC66, hashtag vote with your wallet, pass on what you've learned, be a positive force in the collecting community. This is the way.
This is the way.
Oh, also, if you hear an ad from us this week, we recorded in a parking lot. We used Glenn's phone to record it, and we used my phone for the script. So that's why I got a little lost, if you hear that. I had to find out where we were in this massive block of text. So
it's so bad, it's good. But if
awesome.
If you enjoyed my original Anchor ad, you'll totally enjoy this one.
Hey, I was included, so.
Yeah.
Yes. This is the way.
This is the way. I guess that's what happens. You need to pre-read scripts, but yeah, what's pre-reading? What's production
we pre-read
value?
It, but it was days later that we actually read it.
Yeah.
And you were like, let's do it real quick. I had my keys out. I was ready to jump in the car. You had
Jason's
your keys
like,
out.
come on, man.
So we did it.
Yeah.
It's time to go eat dinner.
It's time for dinner.